Hi class. Well, this is the last lesson from our unit 5.5, 5.7, and this last one is about predict with linear models. So there are a couple things as a vocab that you should be familiar with, and you are already with best fitting line, the very first one here. The line that most closely follows a trend in data is called best fitting line. The process of finding the best fitting line to a model is called linear regression. You can perform those linear regressions using technologies, which is much more accurate and precise way to do it, using a line or its equation to approximate a value between known values. It's called linear interpolation. So today, pretty much that's what we're going to do. We will predict by following linear models. So I would like you to start using your notes, and we will begin with this very first information that we're going to use here. So you can go ahead and write down lesson 5.7, predict with linear models, and those will be the 4 steps we're going to use. Step 1, we will plot points. So if you have given graph and you have given points, you always have to plot the points. Sometimes your graph will already have points, so you don't need to plot the points. They will be there for you. Step 2, you're going to draw a straight line that will representing the points or the best fit line. Once you have the best fit line, and all of those are things we already discussed, you learned that in 5.6, then you're going to have to write the equation of the line. So pretty much all of those were steps from previous lessons. So you are familiar with this so far. The last thing, what this lesson is about, we're going to predict the future data. So how is that possible? And let's go ahead and apply the steps to solve some problems. So the very first one here that is given for us, it says write an equation of the best fitting line. Once you write the equation, use that equation to find the value of y when x equals 3. Alright, first thing, based on the steps we said we need to have 2 points. And if you look at my graph, I already have given graph as an example, and I choose 2 points to work with. The 2 points that are going through my best fit line are this one and this one. The coordinates of these points are, for the first one we have positive 1 for x and positive 1 for y, so it will be 1 and 1. In the second point I have negative 1 for x and 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 4 for y. So we're going to use those 2 points to find the slope. And the slope will be 4 minus 1, so y2 minus y1, over negative 1 minus 1, x2 minus x1. That will be equal to 4 minus 1 is 3 and negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 2. That's what we calculate for the slope. Next thing, we're going to substitute into point slope form in order to write the equation for this problem or for this line of best fit. So y minus, let's work with the first point, 1 and 1 coordinates, so will be y minus 1 is equal to negative 3 over 2 x minus 1. I'm going to solve this equation, so y minus 1 is equal to negative 3 over 2x. Negative 3 over 2 times negative 1 will be just positive 3 over 2. Then we're going to plus 1 to the numbers. This cancel. So y is equal to negative 3 over 2x. And remember, because all of those weird numbers for the y-intercept, you got to use the calculator. So we're going to say 3 over 2, or 3 divided by 2 plus 1. gives us 2.5, so plus 2.5. Now that was the third step, the equation they asked us to calculate. Now the final thing, final solution, the new solution, step 4 for today is, it says predict the future data. What will y be equal to when x equals 3? So when x equals 3, we're going to use this equation and we will say y is equal to negative 3 over 2. Instead of x, now make sure you put number 3 plus 2.5. So let's go ahead and calculate that. We have negative 3 over 2, so negative 3 divided by 2 equals to negative 1.5 times 3 is, this is negative 4.5 plus 2.5. So when we add negative 4.5 plus 2.5, we will get y is negative 2. What this gives us, it gives us the next point on the coordinate. So look at this. When x is positive 3, basically what it says is, when x is positive 3, 1, 2, 3 on the graph, then y will be negative 2. And this will be the prediction for the next point. If you want to find out what the next point will be, then those will be the coordinates of the point. And with this, we will finalize the example. Alright, well, it looks like we are done with this example. So let's go ahead and see what next example will be about. Find the value of y when x equals 3. So pretty much we're following exactly the same steps. And this is an example when you pause the video and you try on your own. And I will suggest you just do that, try on your own, because it's going to be much easier than later when you're doing the practice examples. So go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, so welcome back. I know some of you probably tried and did well, some of you didn't, some of you decided just to keep going. Either way, it's fine, just make sure you follow the steps and do what you're supposed to do. So we need 2 points, right? And the 2 points I choose, this will be the first one and this will be the second one. So just by looking the graph, I want you to write down the coordinates of these points. So first point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, those are negative values. So negative 4 for x, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 4 for y. That will be the coordinates for the first point. Second point has coordinates of 1, 2 for x and 1, 2, 3, negative 3 for y. So I have my points written down. Next thing I want to do is to calculate the slope. So using those points, I'm going to write down negative 3 minus 4 over 2 minus negative 4. That will be equal to negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7 over 2 minus negative 4 will be just 6. So negative 7 over 6 is the slope here. Pick one of the 2 points in order to begin with point slope form. So let's pick 2 and negative 3, for example. So the equation will be y minus negative 3 is equal to negative 7 over 6 times x minus 2. Okay, well, those 2 negatives, they changed to plus, so we have y plus 3 here equals to, and you can apply distributive property, negative 7 over 6x, negative 7 over 6 times negative 2. Let's go ahead and find out what this is equal to. So negative 7 over 6 on the calculator, and then we have times negative 2 will give us plus 2.33. Okay, repeating number, we can use that one, that is perfectly fine. Then, to solve the equation, I will subtract 3 from both sides. Those two cancel, so y will be equal to negative 7 over 6x. And what we need to do now, we have 2.3333, keep going in period, and then minus 3 equals to negative 0.67. Definitely you can round your answer to negative 0.67. So here's the equation. This is the equation from step number 3. Final step 4, we just have to find out what will be if we know that x from the beginning is 3. We just need to calculate what will be the y coordinate of the next point that we are going to predict, where it's going to be the location of next point on the graph. So let's go ahead and substitute in this equation y equals negative 7 over 6 times 3. Instead of x, we put 3 minus 0.67. So y will be equal to, I'm going to use the calculator again, and we'll write down negative 7 divided by 3, by 6. Negative 7 divided by 6 times 3 will be equal to negative 3.5. So this whole thing here is negative 3.5 minus 0.67. Minus 0.67 will give me negative 4.17. So y coordinate for this prediction point will be negative 4.17. And I hope you guys understand that we can have, let me zoom this a little bit so you can see, this right here is x equals 3 and y equals negative 4.17. Those are x and y, the coordinates, the prediction coordinates of the next point. So if we just keep going through the line, we may have positive 3 over here and negative 4.17. So my next point will be somewhere here, and that will be the location of the point. All right, so next thing will be similar example. And if you need to pause the video and go again through those steps, please do so. If you feel comfortable moving to the next example, let's go ahead and do it together. So now, next example is what we have given. We have given a table. Each table, or this table, consists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So our job will be to make a scatter plot of the data, which means we're going to draw, make our own graph, and we will plot the points. We'll describe the correlation. Then we're going to draw a line of best fit, and then we will predict what will be the location of the next point on the data. If I know that x is equal to 8, then what will be the y coordinate of this point? All right, so let's go ahead step by step. First thing, we're gonna draw and make nice coordinate plan. So this is x, this is y. You can put some measurements here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and negatives to x coordinate axis will be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. I think we're good. It's kind of equal distance. So first point, negative 1 for x and positive 3 for y. That will be my first point. Then we have 0 for x and 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, y. Okay, then we have 1 and 1 right here. Then we have 2 and 0. And then we have 4 1, 2, 3, 4 for x, and negative 3 for y. Alright, well, looks good. Definitely, if you want, you can use a ruler and just draw the best fit line, or in this case, I feel like my best fit line will go through, maybe through those 2 points. And I'm gonna have 1 point below, couple points above, but those 2 will be the points I will work with. Those will be the 2 points that I want to use. So, step 1, points. Let's go ahead and write down their coordinates. So x and y for the first one, x and y for the second one. First point will have 1 and 1 coordinates, 1 for x, 1 for y. Second point has 0 for x, 0 for y and 2 for x. So x is positive 2, y is 0. And I think we're good with the points. Next thing now will be slope. So let's calculate the slope. And the slope will be 0 minus 1 over 2 minus 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So negative 1 will be the slope here. Okay, step number 3, we're using point slope form equation. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, which point you're gonna choose is up to you. Let's work with this one, 2 and 0. So y minus 0 is equal to negative 1 times x minus 2. Well, y minus 0 is easy to calculate. It's just y equals, and then apply distributive property here. Negative 1 times x will be negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 1 will give us positive 2. So we have the equation. And once we know the equation, final step will be to calculate the y value. If we know that the prediction point is given from the beginning of the equation x to be 8, then let's see what y is going to equal to. So we're going to substitute here. Y will be equal to negative 1 times 8 for x plus 2. So y is equal, negative 1 times 8 is negative 8 plus 2. Our y itself is negative 6. Negative 6. So the prediction point from here, if you go through and calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 is somewhere here for x, and negative 6, 2 for 6, negative 6 for y, it looks like my next point will be somewhere down here. And if you continue the line of the best fit, you will see that definitely we have a negative correlation, and it's just keep going. So with that, we're gonna end this lesson, and I would just want to go over everything what we talked about in this lesson, just as a brief summary. So in order to predict with linear models, you always need to have data of some points. You plot the points on the graph if you need to. Once the points are plotted on the graph, you can see if we're gonna have negative, positive correlation or no correlation at all. If it's positive or negative, then your job is to draw a straight line that represents the points and the points of the best fit line and goes in the middle. And next step will be to find the equation of this line. And once we know the equation, final step will be to predict the data. Normally, you will have given the coordinate of the prediction point, one of the coordinate, and you're gonna have to find next one. So the examples that we were discussing today, we had given x coordinate. You just had to calculate y coordinate and see where will be the location of the future point. And thank you for watching the video. This is it, and I will be ready for questions. So both see you in class if you have questions. Bye.